Hey guys, today I'm again trying something new to me, and once again I really couldn't find anything perfect on the internet that really brought everything together what I wanted to do. I wanted a really good tasting healthy pizza. Found a lot of options out there, stuff I had no idea existed, like cauliflower instead of a crust. I might try that one day, but we'll see. I'm not big on cooked cauliflower. Love it raw. But anyway, today I'm going to do a whole wheat crust, and I'm going to try it first with all whole wheat flour. I've heard or read that using 100% whole wheat flour can make kind of a weird dough, and it's recommended to at least cut in some regular all-purpose flour. But we'll see how it goes first. I'll do this first batch with the whole wheat flour, 100%. And I'm just doing a pepperoni mushroom, which is one of my favorite pies. So I've got fresh mushrooms here. They're already washed and pre-sliced. It saves a ton of time. Not that much more expensive to get them that way than just whole and dirty and having to do all the work yourself. And then I've got this turkey pepperoni, and I've got fat-free mozzarella. So that'll be what's going on it, along with a homemade sauce that I'm going to do just with plain tomato sauce. And I'm going to add in some of this Italian seasoning, which I checked to make sure it has no salt in it. It's strictly herbs and spices. Majoram thyme, rosemary, savory, sage, oregano, and basil. And then I'm also going to add in some garlic. And that's going to be to taste, of course. But I like a lot of it, so a lot of it's going to go in there. And I'm going to cook that, and we'll just get the flavors going together and let that cool a little bit. And that'll be ready to spread on the pie. And I've got some rapid rise yeast. There's regular and there's rapid rise, and this will cut our proofing down to like 10 minutes. So I've never done an actual pizza before. I've worked with dough a lot. And I think the last time I actually really worked with it when I was a kid working at Dunkin' Donuts. And yes, I was the guy at 3 a.m. that was time to make the donuts. So that was working in, oh God, they were like 50-gallon drums that we were making the dough in. Huge, huge mixers. That was fun. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do today. Besides this, I just need some hot water to activate the yeast. And yeah, I've got some clips here. I went to the grocery store looking to put everything together, just kind of piece it together. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do other than I wanted a whole wheat flour crust. I checked into the pre-mades, I checked into the pre-made sauces, and I saw what they had for topping options. So this is what I saw at the store, and after we watch that, we'll get into making the pizzas. We've got 4 mozzarellas to choose from in Kraft. Got like 2% here, 37 an ounce. We got the regular back there, 32.3 an ounce. We got mozzarella with extra fat added, again 32. And then the only healthy one, fat-free, 51 cents an ounce. This is why America is so fat. Eating healthy costs more. Or rather, eating not healthy is the only cheap alternative. Just ridiculous. Here's what I usually would have got. Just regular pepperoni, 38 cents an ounce, not bad. But to go healthy, go on turkey. Got 2 choices here, 50 cents and 54 cents, so good jump up from 38. I mean, that basically means go from a good package down to almost half the size. But here's the difference. Look at the 2 choices here. Everything is about the same except for the sodium. Got almost twice as much sodium in this Hormel brand as the Armor. So I'm going with this one. So I'm looking at sauces here, and there's some pretty good choices, but every single one of them, even though they're low in sugars and fat and everything, extremely high in sodium. I mean, this one little can here probably would barely cover one pizza. It's only 15 ounces. I'm figuring about 2 cups per pizza. They're saying 7 servings in a can, 10% sodium per serving. So, I mean, just the sauce, almost all your sodium. That's ridiculous. And all these are the same way. Everything's good except the sodium. Every one of these brands. And then down here we've got pizza crust in a box and a packet and everything. And again, they all look pretty darn good, except they're super high in sodium for some reason. Every single one of them. And again, ridiculous serving suggestions. This makes one 12-inch pie, and they're calling it 5 servings. Get real. Every one of them's like that. So we're going to make our own. We're going to do our own whole wheat crust. Got these here too. Bunch of nice thin whole wheat crust choices. Pretty economical. Only a few bucks each. 3 something. You get 2 of them in this pack. So that's really cheap. But again, huge in sodium. And ridiculous with the servings. They're calling this little 12-inch pie 6 servings. I mean, get real. Again, I think it should be illegal for companies to put such ridiculous numbers on food. It's just dumb. Alright, let's keep going. I'm going to make my own sauce. Look up the recipe while I'm here. Shouldn't be that hard. I'm thinking like tomato sauce, onion powder, garlic, maybe some parsley, basil. I don't know. Seems pretty simple. I'll see what's in these. I'm having a craving. I'm looking for the mushrooms. I think I'm going to go with fresh instead of canned, even though I love the taste and the texture of canned mushrooms. Oh, but I love sardines. Put them on a saltine cracker. Can you tell I'm a salt freak? I don't even want to think what these things are. Probably horrible. Never actually looked. Doesn't even say. Oh well. Maybe it's a treat one day. Well, here we go. We're going to try batch 1. Like I said, kind of winging it here, so this is the first attempt. Might come out great, might suck. We'll see. I'm going to do 5 cups of the whole wheat flour without making a big mess here. You want to be fairly accurate when you're baking with stuff, so just be careful when you're scooping it. It's 2. Alright, now I'm putting in just 1 teaspoon of salt. And 1 teaspoon of sugar. Now, this is more for the yeast than the taste. And the only reason I'm not using Splenda is because I'm not sure how the yeast reacts to Splenda as opposed to sugar. So, a teaspoon won't kill anybody. Certainly doesn't make it unhealthy. Sorry for the cough. The oven's preheated to 500 and it's kind of smoking up the kitchen a little bit. Alright, so we've got our dry ingredients. We need to add the yeast packets. I'm going to go 2 packets of the Rapid Rise. Cut off one from the end here. I need some scissors. Or a knife. And of course you want to make sure, because this yeast is alive, that you are buying it fresh. Don't try to reuse something that's been in your cupboard for years or anything like that. It does not work. That's 1. They make these kind of tough to open. They're like plastic lined. There we go. There's not a whole lot in them. Just make sure you get it all out. Okay. There's the yeast, 2 packets worth. Just want to mix this up really well in here. Let's see, am I forgetting anything? I don't think so. Now the next step, also kind of important, we need to add very warm water, and because it's going to activate the yeast, it needs to be a pretty specific temperature range between 120 and 130 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you're not a real good judge, use a thermometer. Sometimes water straight out of the hot tap will be hot enough. But if you're like me and you actually keep your hot water tank at a fairly low temperature, I think I have mine set to 120 or 125. I mean, it's right in there. It'll be just enough. But sometimes people have them set lower, 110 or so. And then you're going to have to put it in the microwave and warm it up just a bit. But it's important that it's not too hot because it'll kill the yeast, and it's important it's not too low because the yeast won't spring to life and do their thing. So now we have to put in, I'm going to put in 2 cups of 120 to 130 degree water into this. There's 1. And 2. Alright. Now we need to get this mixed in together. Just need to get it all incorporated. I like to do it with a spoon before. You don't have to use a stand mixer. If you have one, it obviously makes it a lot easier. But it can get kind of messy if you just turn it on straight away. Alright, that's good enough to start from. We just want to get this mixed in together to a rough dough ball, and then we're going to let it sit and do a first rise, which won't take long because we're using the rapid rise yeast. We're only going to have to let it sit about 10 minutes. So if you're using a mixer, break out your dough hook. And a tip, if you haven't used one of these, which most people haven't on their mixer, get in there. Low speed only, usually the lowest setting, because this thing will rock apart if you try to do it higher. Alright, after a few minutes of just a rough kneading there, nice and doughy, all the flour is incorporated, so that is ready to go for the next step. And the next step is simply to leave it proof. What you can do is take this off, we're just going to take a damp tea towel, or you can use saran wrap. We're just going to cover this up. We're going to come back in 10 minutes. The yeast is going to start doing its thing. It's going to increase in size a little bit. After 10 minutes, it'll be ready to form it into our balls. And this should be enough in here for 2 pizzas. So I'll form it into balls, and then we're going to let it sit again for a final rise. In the meantime, while we're waiting for our dough, I'm going to go ahead and make the sauce, and I'm going to do enough for what I think should be 4 pizzas, because if this is good, I'm going to either make it again or tweak it a little bit in a couple days, and I'll already have the sauce ready. So what we're going to do is 2 large cans here of the tomato sauce. Nothing special here. I saw some recipes call for puree. I think that's a little on the thick side for me. I like tomato sauce on a pizza. A little thinner. Please don't splatter all over me. Alright. Alright. Get these out of the way. Now, like I said, I love garlic, so where'd my spoon go? It's missing. Alright, get another one. Here it is. I love garlic, so I'm going to put in, a good 5 or 6 cloves worth. Again, splitting this over 4 pizzas. That's not a lot. I could certainly go more for my taste, but we'll see what it comes out as. There we go. And, well, I'm going to guess for 4 pizzas, probably want a good teaspoon each. We'll go with maybe a tablespoon and a half worth, maybe 2 of these spices. And that should make a very delicious pizza sauce. We're just going to kick it down to medium-low here, bring it up to temp. Obviously there's nothing to really cook in this. We just want the flavors to come together. Want the garlic to soften up a bit. And you just want to watch it because you don't want anything burning on the bottom, but keep your heat low enough. And this can just kind of sit here and hang out. Obviously everything is just to taste. I could probably put in some onion powder. Is there any in here? I don't think there is. What do we got in this? We've got, well, they already read them off. Yeah, there's no onion, so I want some onion in here. Let's see what I got. Here we go. Put about a teaspoon of onion powder in there, kick it up. Beautiful. Tell you what, the house is smelling good from the dough. It smells very yeasty, like I'm baking bread. It has that natural light yeast smell. Even though the dough looks weird, I'll see how it puffs up. I don't think it's going to rise quite as much as a bread dough or donuts or anything like that because it's a whole wheat. It's a lot chunkier. I expect it to have not only the texture of a whole wheat, but maybe some nutty flavor to it. And I think it's going to be like a thin crust, which is fine because that's my favorite kind of pizza. Although, I won't say it's my favorite. My favorite is Jet's deep dish. If there's a Jet's near you, they're very limited. Luckily, I'm from Detroit, and they happen to be there, and there's like one here. I don't know. Hardly ever go there, though. It's not too close. Alright, so anyway, we're going to let this come up to temp. We got another 5 minutes left on the dough, and then we're going to shape. Excuse me. Then we're going to shape it. Alright, got the sauce done. It's off the heat. It's just going to sit there and cool. Our dough has increased in size, definitely squishier and more doughy looking. That's looking pretty good. Now I'm just going to separate it. We're going to get it into 2 balls, 2 pizzas, if I can speak. I was going to say pies. Alright, what we're going to do with these is just cover them with saran wrap. We're going to let them sit about an hour, and they should about double in size, and then they'll be ready to spread out. Well, this should be interesting because I just realized I bought the pizza stone and I forgot to get a pizza peel and cornmeal. So those are kind of important for getting the dough on and off the pizza stone, which is, by the way, in the oven. You have to make sure that you heat the stone up with the oven. You put it in a cold oven, you heat it up, and then it's ready to go. If you put a cold stone in a hot oven, you can crack it. And never use your pizza cutter or a knife or anything directly on the stone because you can ruin your knife or cutter. Usually the stone just sits in the oven. It's just in there to cook on, and use the peel to grab the pizza out. I'm going to have to use a couple spatulas. Anyway, to roll it out, I've got a cutting board here. If you've got, a nice stainless steel counter or a big wooden cutting board, that's cool too. These did puff up, not quite twice as much. It's been about 45 minutes here. I don't think they're going to get any bigger. So we're going to take these out. I would imagine that with regular flour, they proof up more. So what I'm going to do is sprinkle a little bit of regular all-purpose flour on the cutting board, and this is just for the shaping, so it's not that big of a deal. You can use your whole wheat if you want to, but this is a much finer flour, so it's easier for doing this shaping part. I would imagine, at least. Never tried to use the whole wheat, but I can tell from just scooping it and everything. It is chunkier, which I'm excited to taste because I love wheat bread and big grains, and I love the grit. Alright, so there's tons of ways, I'm sure, to shape a pizza dough. And again, I'm just going to wing it. I don't have a rolling pin, but I don't think you need one for pizza anyway. I'm just going to roughly press it out here. I like a little bit of a crust, something to hold on to, so I'm going to do that. And obviously you just don't want the center to become too thin. Surprisingly, this is very thick and pliable dough. I thought it would be kind of thin and brittle. So I'm going to build up kind of a crust wall here. Kind of like a do-it-yourself boboli. This is what I'm thinking will work. We'll see. Might come out like crap. Alright, so I'm going to make my dough wall here, get my general circle shape going. That's the theory anyway. Alright, now I'm going to stretch it out to size. Now my stone, I believe, is a 14-inch, so that's the largest I want to go. Now I'm just going to stretch this out. Just want to do it evenly. Don't want to tear it, but it's got a lot to give. Put one hand in the middle, one hand stretching out. And the reason I want this nice crust is because I like toppings, so it's a little thin in there. Gotta be careful. Like I said, I'm a newbie. But I want this to kind of help hold stuff in. It's going to be healthy, but I'll be damned if it's not going to taste good. You're not going to eat anything if it doesn't taste good, healthy or not. Alright. I think that should about do it. Slides well enough, I don't see any real bad spots. So, let's put on some sauce. Now I'm thinking I might need a little extra sauce than I'm used to, just to counteract the grittiness of the whole grain. But we'll see. Put on a cup and see how it looks here. Yeah, definitely a little more than a cup. Try 2. You don't want to go too crazy with any kind of liquids though, because that will affect how evenly your dough cooks. Alright. See, that's why I wanted a lip. Alright. That looks good enough for now. Maybe a little too much, but not bad for a first try. Now, cheese, fat-free cheese. This is a 7-ounce package, so not a whole lot, even though it was $3.50 for this package. $3.50, $3.80, something like that. 50 some odd cents an ounce. Ridiculous, but fat-free. So, not complaining. It is what it is. It is literally the only fat-free mozzarella that they had. They also had a fat-free cheddar. Well, that's it. 2 fat-free cheeses in the entire store. And that was Walmart. Your little local grocer is probably going to be even worse. You're lucky to find this. Oh, I love cheesy pizza, so I'm going to use this whole thing. It's really not that much. I thought it would maybe cover 2, but no. It's already disappearing in the sauce here. Alright. So there's our cheese. That's good to go. Now, I want some of these delicious mushrooms. I'm going to go kind of crazy with the mushrooms. Number 1, probably going to shrink a bit. Number 2, they're good for you. Number 3, I love mushrooms. Delicious. So we're just going to put these guys everywhere. The only thing I'm concerned with mushrooms is they do have a lot of moisture in them. So we'll see how that affects the pizza. Maybe I'll have to make the next one a little thicker on the outside, or on the inside. We'll see. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Love me some fungi. Alright, and then last but not least, some of this turkey pepperoni, which, if it's anything like the turkey Italian sausage, is going to be absolutely delicious, even if I wasn't making anything healthy. I'm not going to go too crazy with the pepperoni. Just going to do some nice even coverage. This is mainly a mushroom pizza. Looking good, looking good. Man, I'm excited to see how this comes out. Even if it doesn't taste good, I know it's going to look good. That's the photographer in me talking. I cannot wait to take a picture of this guy coming out. Alright, so that's not bad. About a third of a package covered a whole pie here. Can't complain about that. Alright, beautiful. So, oven is still preheating. I've got it going up to 500. I shut it off. I didn't realize it would heat that quickly to 500, but it was done way before I was done making the dough and stuff. So it's coming back up to temp. And then all we're going to do is cook it until, obviously, we see the cheese melting. It's going to be hard to tell when the crust is done, because it's not going to puff up, I don't think, because of the whole wheat flour. If I had it done half and half, I think we might have seen that more. And to slide this off, let's see, it's pretty heavy. Shoot. Is it sticking or is it heavy? Oh, craps. This is why I need a peel. Let me throw some more flour under there. Anyway, I'm going to mess with this, and we'll get it in the oven and see how it comes out. I did it! Actually, it wasn't hard. I ended up using this as a peel, and I just kind of scooted it under the pie, and after I got it halfway under, it was sliding okay on this. So I just held this and kind of scooted it off, and bada bing, bada boom. That's good to go. I don't think I can take it off with this, because this would probably melt touching that stone at 500 degrees. So we'll probably have to take the stone out, which is okay, because I have a stand for it and go right here on the stove. Cool. Let's see how it comes out. Alright, we just hit 9 minutes. I took a peek. I'm seeing some blackening around the outside, so I think it's about done. Now, because I don't have the peel, I kind of screwed myself. I'm going to go with a big barbecue spatula and a big barbecue tongue, and I'm going to try to get the entire stone out. But it's tough because it's on the bottom rack and there's not a whole lot to grab onto. Well, let's give it a shot. Wow, it's hot. It smells incredibly good. Gotta be careful here. fall, pizza, don't fall. Alright. Okay, now, I have to quickly get this off the stone, because that stone is going right back in the oven. Oop, smoke alarm. We did have some sauce pouring over the sides here. Alright, let's just get this off the stone. Look at the bottom here. Oh, it's beautiful. Not burned at all. Alright, now this can go right back in. Spatula actually worked out pretty well. It's big enough where I can get underneath it, obviously, without a problem. You just don't tip it. Very carefully put this in. One shock would probably destroy this stone. And obviously be careful of touching any of the oven with your hands. Alright, that's going to go back in. Oh, baby. That is what I'm talking about. Beautiful. Yeah, I'll definitely cut back on the sauce. It's oozing out a little bit. Probably 1.5 cups max. But man, other than that, let's see how it looks inside. Not the world's best cutter. But what do you want? It's cheap. It's thicker than I thought. Then again, it might be just the cutter not doing a very good job. I'm interested to see how well the crust cooked. Oh, man, this is a horrible cutter. It's just pushing the cheese around instead of cutting. Alright, let's take a look here. Whew, hot and steamy. Oh, let's see, where's our pretty piece? This one here looks pretty good. I didn't cut all the way through. I'll just take this one. Just want to see what it looks like. Nice. Alright, it's a little overdone on the very bottom. So this next one I'm going to dial it back. Maybe try 7 minutes. It's not black at all, so I couldn't tell. That's what I was kind of looking at. Let's see how it tastes. Oh, I'm crazy. That's not burnt. It's just hard. Mmm. That's beautiful. That is really good. I mean, not like for a healthy pizza. This is really good for pizza. Dang. Alright. You can really taste those Italian spices I put into the sauce. A lot of oregano and a nice zest to it. The crust is really good tasting. Yeah, that's about the right bake time. Just a tiny, tiny bit of gooiness in the very center. But that bottom isn't burnt at all. It's not overdone. That's absolutely perfect. Alright, so 9 minutes at 500 it is for this delicious, healthy pepperoni mushroom pizza. Sweet. Well, I'm going to finish this piece here and cook my second pizza, and we'll see you guys next time. Just pick this guy up. Mmm.